Welcome to Japan Today Spotlight, where we take you deeper into the headlines you know and some you might have missed. I'm Jeff Richards. For the past 5 months, few stories have made bigger headlines here in Japan than rice. This staple food has skyrocketed in price since last year, caused consumers to panic buy, upended the distribution system, and cost one cabinet minister his job. It may also cost Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba his job in July's upper house election, unless he can bring the price down. In this edition of Japan Today Spotlight, we look at the importance of rice to Japanese consumers, what has caused rice prices to soar, and how the government and retailers are dealing with it. Now, in Japan, rice is more than just a food. It's been a part of daily life and national identity for over 2,000 years, even if people are eating a bit less of it today. Back in the 7th century, rice was a form of payment. Up until the late Edo period, even samurai were paid in rice because there wasn't enough money in circulation. Farmers used rice to pay agricultural taxes to their lords. It's still common today for rice growers to send gifts of rice to high-placed politicians from their districts. This is exactly what caused Agricultural Minister Taku Eto to resign in May. There was an uproar after he said he never had to buy rice because his supporters give it to him as gifts. Eto's comments showed he was completely out of touch with consumers who are struggling with the spiraling price of rice. As a result, he was ousted and replaced with Shinjiro Koizumi, son of former Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi. The price of rice hit a new record high in April for the 7th consecutive month, marking a 98.4% increase from 1 year earlier. The top brand in Japan, Koshi Hikari, now sells for nearly 5,000 yen, that's about $32 per 5 kilograms. Rice stocks at Japan Agriculture, also known as JA, cooperatives and wholesalers, have been 400,000 tons short of last year's levels, hitting a record low of 1.53 million tons, according to Agricultural Ministry figures. The government has blamed this rice shortage on everything from last summer's megaquake advisory, which caused panic buying, to over-tourism, with millions of tourists per month supposedly eating tons of rice, and a poor harvest in 2023 due to hot weather and pests. But there are other issues involved. Here's a few. The Agriculture Ministry is under fire for delaying releases of emergency rice reserves, which are normally kept for disasters and for when they misjudge the supply-demand balance. Wholesalers have been accused of hoarding rice to keep prices high. And the supply chain is complicated because most growers still sell their rice in the traditional auction system run by JA, a powerful group of cooperatives with close ties to the governing Liberal Democratic Party. Furthermore, a growing amount of rice is sold through smaller businesses and now online, making it difficult to track supplies and prices. The government of Japan usually sells rice stockpiles at auctions to companies that win the bids at the highest price. This rice is then distributed to consumers through wholesalers and retailers. Upon taking office, Koizumi pledged to bring the price of 5-kilogram bags of rice down from that 5,000 yen to 2,000 yen. He immediately terminated the auction method for stockpiled older rice. He did this because the release of auctioned rice earlier this year failed to stop the price surge. Instead, The government is now selling rice harvested in 2021 and 2022 directly to retailers. On May 31st, the government started delivering older rice directly to retailers. Supermarkets in urban regions began selling 5-kilogram bags for just 2,000 yen, and the rice was sold out within 30 minutes after the stores opened at 10 a.m. Bags of rice harvested in 2023 and 2024 are expected to remain high at 4,000 yen, about $25, until this year's crop comes to market in the fall. Around 70 major retailers, including Aeon, Ito-Yokado, and online giant Rakuten, have asked to buy the cheaper rice. Together, they've snapped up over 200,000 tons, or about 2/3 of what's available. Rakuten sold the rice at 2,138 yen per 5-kilogram bag, and all stocks were gone within hours. LY Corp, operator of the Line messaging app, said it's considering selling the rice online. Big convenience stores like Family Mart, 7-Eleven, and Lawson didn't make the Agriculture Ministry's final list, so don't expect cheap rice at their stores just yet. Japan has historically been very reluctant to encourage imports of rice, imposing high tariffs to protect local farmers from competition. And finicky Japanese consumers prefer the oval-shaped, sticky japonica grain to foreign imports. In April, when U.S. President Donald Trump announced sweeping tariffs, he criticized Japan for what he said was a 700% tariff on rice. While Japan has long protested U.S. tariffs on automobiles and other goods as protectionist, it levies some of the highest agricultural tariffs in the developed world, particularly on rice and grains such as wheat and barley. The out-of-quota tariff rate can indeed reach up to 700%, effectively shutting out most foreign rice. On top of that, the government uses subsidies, planting restrictions, and stockpile auctions to manipulate the market and keep domestic prices artificially high. Tariff-free minimum access imports are capped at just 100,000 metric tons a year, which is barely 1% of total consumption. The U.S. gets about 60% of that quota, and that's followed by Australia, Thailand, and Taiwan. So while Japan criticizes other nations for protectionism, it fiercely guards its own agricultural markets, especially when it comes to the nation's most sacred crop. In 1993, the last time there was a major rice shortage in Japan, the government imported Thai rice, but it was largely shunned, leaving supermarkets with piles of unsold bags. However, retailers are confident that foreign rice will sell. Aeon plans to sell 4-kilogram bags of California-grown Calrose for 2,894 yen at 600 outlets in major cities beginning June 6. It has bought 1.4 tons to tide it over until the autumn harvest. In the past, Aeon sold Calrose blended with Japanese rice, but this will be the first time it's selling bags of 100% Calrose rice. Less sticky than Japanese rice, the Calrose variety is more suited for use in risottos, pilaf, stews, and soup. Not the traditional way to consume rice in Japan. Prime Minister Ishiba hardly distinguished himself during questioning in the Diet. When he was asked about the rice shortage, he said, "We don't know why we haven't been able to push prices lower. We first will figure out exactly how much rice there is and where it is." Ishiba's Liberal Democratic Party is unlikely to risk angering farmers, traditionally a very strong support base, by importing too much rice ahead of the July election. Rice growers, of course, aren't complaining. The system works just fine when it's rigged in your favor. Shielded by tariffs and subsidies, a crisis can be good for business. And any move to reform JA's complex auction and distribution system, which props up these small rice growers, is almost guaranteed to hit resistance. Agriculture Minister Koizumi says he's worried that Japanese people may start eating even less domestic rice, turning to other, cheaper imported carbs, dealing another blow to the industry. He fears the ongoing shortages and high prices could speed up that shift to other grains or alternatives like bread, noodles, or pasta. Kazuhito Yamashita, research director at the Canon Institute for Global Studies, says Japan could have avoided the problem by allowing more rice to be planted and exporting more if there were surpluses. You see, for years, the government paid farmers to reduce rice acreage and grow other crops, a policy meant to prop up prices. It's now seen as part of the problem. Yamashita adds that Japan needs a long-term strategy. The average farmer is now 69 years old, and the farming population has dropped by half in the last 20 years to just 1.1 million. Unless something changes, Japan may struggle to keep its most essential crop growing, or even keep people eating it. Whether that solution is reform, innovation, or import shifts, that debate is only just beginning. But what do you think? Let us know down in the comments. From the Japan Today newsroom here in Tokyo, I'm Jeff Richards. See me next time.